Make we join our hands to build a nation of our dreams. Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Yeah. Your problem is my problem and my joy is your joy. Yeah. Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Shiki, shiki.
Hello, Abuja. You are listening to 93.7 Citizen FM, the latest radio station based in Nigeria's capital.
And it's exactly 12 minutes gone past 4 p.m. It is the 15th day of July 2022. I believe your day has been going good so far. Happy weekend to you. Yes, it is the weekend. And I know people have plans, yes, what to do and what not to do. But whatever you do, please stay safe because that is of the essence. Ensure that you are safe and please do not do anything that will put other people around you at risk. I am Didi and it is time to take a look at what is trending in the news right now. It is time for News Roundup on 93.7 Citizen FM. So just a few hours ago, 3 hours thereabouts, a National Industrial Court today, of course, I said 3 hours ago, ordered the federal government to put machinery in place for the immediate review of the salaries and allowances of judicial officers in Nigeria. So Justice Obaseki Osagi, who issued the order, held that the current salaries and allowances of judicial officers in the country are not only abysmally low, but also embarrassing. So they're just too low. Justice Obaseki Osage gave the order while he was delivering judgment in a suit filed against the federal government by Chief Sebastian Hon, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria. So he ordered the federal government to commence a monthly payment of 10 million naira to the Chief Justice of Nigeria. That's not all. He also ordered 9 million naira be paid to other justices of the Supreme Court and 9 million naira to President of Appeal Court. Yeah, that's the President of Court of Appeal. Also, other justices of the Appellate Court would get 8 million naira. Chief justices of both federal and state high courts to get 8 million naira, while judges of the federal and state high courts would receive 7 million naira. The judge held that the refusal of the government to review the judicial officers' salaries and allowances for 14 years and counting was unconstitutional, it was unlawful, and should be compelled to do the needful as soon as possible. And when I heard the story, I ran it by one of my bosses in the office, and the first screen was like, wait, is it the court that will pay these monies? Where are they going to get it from? Of course, the argument is valid that, judges and justices in Nigeria be paid better, because the argument is that the allowances they are receiving right now, at least these allowances and current salaries are, in his words, abysmally low and also embarrassing. But then, to strike the balance now, the judgment is that they receive a monthly payment of 10 million naira. And we are seeing the situation of the economy. So source of funds, should that be a thing of concern? Should we be wondering where it will be coming from? But again, the conversation has always tilted towards, don't worry, when the government wants to do something, they always find a way around it. We just hope that that be the case, so that the conversation will not tilt from what was owed, at least in the last 14 years, not being able to be paid, and then there's now an increase, and there may just be further owing. I just hope that's not the case, as good. Well, we're going to be here. We'll be keeping you abreast with everything that goes on. If anything happens, just be sure that we're going to be giving you update on that. Talking about naira, I mean, we're going to be paying them naira, right? At least that's what the judgment holds. 10 million naira to Chief Justice of Nigeria, 9 million naira to other justices of the Supreme Court, 9 million naira to President of the Court of Appeal, and all of that. In related development, we're hearing that the inflation rate in Nigeria has hit 18.6% in the month of June. June alone. It was really high in May. I remember when that May report came out, I'm like, hey, go, what are we going to do? There were a lot of reactions. Now it's getting higher. The report was released earlier today, just a few hours ago. So Nigeria's inflation rate in the month of June 2022 increased to 18.60% on a year-on-year basis. And the report is from none other but the National Bureau of Statistics. They disclosed this in the Consumer Price Index June 2022 report. And the report, the recorded increase in June is 0.8% higher compared to the rate recorded in June 2021. In 2021, it was 17.75%, but now June 2022, we're hearing 18.60%, and that leaves us with a 0.84% points higher increase. And this means that the headline inflation rate increased in the month of June 2022 when you compare it to the same month of the previous year, that's June 2021. Let me put this in perspective. If you had whatever money you had last year and you thought you had money, same number, say for instance 100,000 naira, it has lost a lot of value. Yeah, so don't get excited hinging on whatever it is you have in the bank right now. Because it's losing value a lot. Anyway, increase were recorded in all COICOP division that yielded the headline index. Now, on a month-on-month basis, the headline inflation rate increased to 1.82% in June. Yeah, June 2022. And this is about 0.03% higher than the rate recorded in May 2022. That was about like 1.78%. See, all those digits and numbers, what it sums up to be is that your money does not have as much strength as it used to. So this means that you will go to the market. You thought you were crying in June when you went to the market to buy foodstuff or anything for that matter. You may just cry louder because it's dropping. It's getting worse. That's what it means. Sad, but true. That's just the reality. That's what we're experiencing right now. God. And again, what we can do is pray that things get better because we really need some sort of escape. But in fairness, though, it's not peculiar to Nigeria. No, it's not. Inflation is being, recorded in many other countries across the globe. In the US, we're seeing that. UK, yes, that's one of the reasons why the Prime Minister did the noble thing, Boris Johnson, which was to resign as leader of the party and, of course, Prime Minister of the UK. But that's happening, yeah. We were seeing what's going on in Sri Lanka. The country has declared bankruptcy, saying that federal government workers should please stay at home. They cannot pay salaries. In fact, the president has left the country. So it's not peculiar to Nigeria. Every country has its own, brouhaha they're facing in times like this. I think it was yesterday I saw Joe Biden on TV saying that the world is facing very peculiar times. Yes, he was, and his Middle East tour. Yeah, we're seeing the report of that saying he's going to, give monies to some hospitals. But that's just taking a detour. Now to the matter. The bottom of the story, or the bottom line, or the moral of the story is that we are not experiencing very good times, yes. We're all praying for better days ahead. But let's also keep in mind that it's not peculiar to Nigeria. But can it get better? Yes, it can get better. And that's what we are banking on and hoping that it be the case, that we just experience better. Anyway, speaking about money still, the Academic Staff Union of Universities National President, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, said that the union was not aware of the 1.2 trillion naira that the federal government said it would need to meet its members' demands. So Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, who is ASU's national president, accused the Minister of Labor and Employment, Chris Ngige, of misinforming the president about the ongoing strike by the union. If you remember, I think it was on Wednesday, during the course of the week, though, that the federal government had in a statement by the deputy director, someone in the Ministry of Labor and Employment, claimed that the proposal made by Professor Lemmy Briggs-led committee, Lemmy Briggs-led committee is the committee that is, having conversations, having a meeting between ASU, federal government, and all of that. Anyway, so they're saying that the claim by the proposal made by the Professor Lemmy Briggs-led committee in relation to the demands of members of ASU and other unions in universities would go up 1.12 trillion naira to implement. And going back again, like just a few days earlier, July 11 would be what? Monday? Thereabouts. I need to be sure. But July 11, though, Newsman had even reported that the president appealed to the union to reconsider its ongoing strike because the action is taking a toll on parents and students. That was the period when the president said enough was enough and something like that. But Professor Osodeke said that if the president had been properly briefed, he would not have not have made such a statement. So concerning the negotiation, the ASU president said the union was not aware of the figure being circulated by the federal government as the amount needed to resolve the strike. So they're not aware. That's not their demand. That's not what we're saying at all. Let's pick a read of the part of the statement. It reads in part. It says, it is the labor minister and his group that would have gone to the president to tell him that we chase out his people, we refuse salary. We are not aware of where their so-called figures arrive from. In all our agreements and discussions, we didn't talk about 1.12 trillion naira or 2.4 trillion naira or anything like that. We did not. We didn't calculate the quantum of what we would need. We calculated what each member of our union will earn. So, the ministry is churning out what the president of ASU, that's the national president of ASU, Professor Emmanuel Sodeke, in his word, he said the ministry is churning out fake figures. We negotiated with the Ministry of Education, so wherever they got the document is not exactly our business. Yeah, that's what he says. Anyway, so in the same vein, I mean, still within the conversation we're having about ASU and whether or not they are aware of the figures, the federal government is saying that they need to resolve the crisis and all of that because students need to go back to school at some point now. It's since February. It's been months. Please, February 14. It was like what I like to call it like the Val's Day gift. But no, it's no longer funny. The joke is no longer funny. Anyway, the chief whip of the Senate, Orji Kalu, has urged the federal government to reopen negotiation with the leadership of ASU. So in a statement, Kalu, who is the ex-governor of Abia State, or former governor of Abia State, lamented the disruption of academic activities as a result of the incessant strike by university teachers. Saying, please, whatever needs to be done, be done. We just need to get back to school. I mean, the students need to get back to school. Life needs to start happening for people. You can't just pause people's lives for months on ending. Please, something be done about it. Okay, moving on now to other stories within the time that we have. It was yesterday that, in fact, it was happening like 30 minutes when I was dropping the story here. Like it had happened 30 minutes prior to News Roundup, and thankfully we saw it on Breaking News and we dropped it here live and direct that Baba Ijesha had been sentenced to 16 years imprisonment. Naturally, reactions have followed. You know, from here and there. So Justice Taiwo Oluwatoyin delivered the judgment yesterday, where he stated that the prosecution failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the defendant, that's Baba Ijesha, was guilty of all the charges against him. So the defendant was found guilty of 4 of the 6 counts against him and was sentenced to 16 years in prison. On count 2, he was jailed for 3 years, count 3, 5 years, count 4, 3 years, and he was sentenced to 5 years for count 5. So the jail term are to run concurrently for 5 years. Anyway, if you were following the story from the very beginning, when the news broke, comedian Princess came out and said, hey, this has happened, but I just tried to have carnal knowledge of my daughter, my teenage daughter who lives with me. Yaba Ojo was one of the people. Yaba Ojo is an actress. She's a Nollywood actress. She features heavily on Yoruba movies and as well regular Nigerian English speaking Nollywood as well. But back to the story. She was one of the people who was heavily championing the cause for this, justice must be served. Justice must be served. She was on Instagram releasing videos, granting interviews. She was, it got to verbal altercation between her and some people in the camp of Baba Ijesha and all of that. Anyway, remember that she's also a survivor of sexual assault. Yes, at least she says that. She was one of the foremost voices in support of Baba Ijesha's victim and her foster mother, that's Princess. So now, reacting to this new judgment that was given yesterday, she said something very pivotal. She admonished those going through abuse to speak up and to never remain silent. And this is what she said. To all the girl child and boy child being abused, never be afraid to speak up and speak out. This victory is for you. Congratulations to everyone. That is everyone who believes that justice has been served, or everyone who's following the case and finding out of justice. Let justice run its course. That's the entire idea of it, right? Okay. All right. Moving on now. So it was also yesterday. We're seeing a lot of, further development on stories. And we always promise you, at least I do always promise you here, that every time there is, further development on any story, I'll bring it to you right here on News Roundup 93.7 Citizen FM. It was yesterday a Twitter post on NNPP's official Twitter account revealed that Bishop Idahosa had been selected as running mate or the presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party. That would be Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso. Today, there has been a reaction on that. Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso is trying to explain why he chose Bishop Idahosa as his running mate. In a statement by Kwankwaso media aide, Muyiwa Fatosha, today, the former Kano State governor said that his choice of Bishop Idahosa was made after careful considerations and meticulous screening of more than 20 prospective candidates, all of whom were eminently qualified to run with him. The statement reads in part, Idahosa was also selected because of his outstanding record, impeccable pedigree, integrity, broad understanding of the Nigerian state and its contemporary challenges. So Kwankwaso said that Idahosa had an undiluted commitment to, improving the conditions of Nigeria, and his sincere belief that a new and better Nigeria is possible if we work together with sincerity, tolerance, competence, and faith. This is just to tell you, to give you an update on that developing story. Because when the story broke on Twitter, some people took it with a pinch of salt, like there should have been like a formal, statement from the party, like maybe release a statement and say how it goes, like newsletter and everything. But that was not the case. It was just a very quiet, very to the point statement or tweet. It released on Twitter, and that was it. So now this just goes to further buttress the fact that yes, Bishop Isaac Idahosa is the running mate for the new Nigeria People's Party presidential candidate, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso. We remember when Labour Party presidential candidate picked his running mate. We also broke it here and, told you why he was picked. In fact, when the People's Democratic Party did theirs as well, we also, said it when the conversations were very high on that. So this is just to, strike a balance and say, no, no one is being diluted, none is being watered down. We're going to give it to you every platform as it goes, as everyone is churning out why they are picking, who they are picking as their running mate. So that you would see in the news as well. That's the explanation so far. Anyway, further stories that you'll be seeing today across some papers. Maybe we should take a peep into the world of sports. I don't know if we have enough time, but we have, on good intelligence that Umahi has reshuffled his cabinet. The Ebonyi State Governor, Dave Umahi, has carried out a minor reshufflement in his effort to ensure good governance for the people. So the State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Mr. Uchenna Oji, was the one who made this known while he was addressing newsmen after a state's weekly executive meeting and the swearing of all the new members in Abakaliki. So Oji said the former senior special assistant to the governor on environment, Mr. Sunday Ogwocha, was sworn in as substantive commissioner and deployed as commissioner for housing and urban development. Yep. It was in a statement I did say earlier, right? Yeah, he made this known while he was addressing newsmen. So he also said the former Commissioner for Housing and Urban Development, Mr. Clement Nweke, has been redeployed to the Ministry of Project Monitoring. Mr. Mark Onu, Special Assistant on Youth Mobilization, is now Special Assistant to the Governor on Drug Control. Mr. Njoku Ozoemena, who is Special Assistant on Solid Minerals, is to be reassigned by the Deputy Governor, Mr. Ofoke Emeka, that's a special advisor on attitudinal change, and is to be reassigned by the deputy governor. And he also spoke on empowerment program, where he said that the commissioner said the executive received the final report of the empowerment of youths and women in the state. So yes, that's a report on a very, minor reshufflement of some sort that went down in Ebonyi State by the governor himself, Dave Umahi. So not so warm stories we're saying, just to keep you abreast of what's going on right now. We're hearing reports about gunmen killing a poly lecturer in his wife's presence. So that was really sad. He's been shot dead in Adamawa State. A polytechnic lecturer identified as Johanna Mbudai Zebu. Unidentified gunmen shot him down. He was a lecturer with the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Adamawa State Polytechnic in Yola, and he was shot in the early hours of the day at his Bajabure residence, somewhere in the outskirts of Yola, the Adamawa state capital. So the assailants reportedly broke into his house and fired multiple shots into his chest and watched him breathe his last while his wife looked on haplessly. Well, a source close to the family who pleaded anonymity said the attackers gained entrance into their residence at about 3 a.m. And the source also disclosed that it was the fifth attempt by these same unidentified assailants to attack the residence, adding that only this time they succeeded and murdered the breadwinner of the family in cold blood. 5 attempts made, and the question would be, could anything have been done before they, finally gained entrance? But whatever the case, may the soul of the departed rest in peace. Anyway, the spokesperson of the Adamawa State Police Command, Suleiman Guroje, confirmed the incident, and he said the Commissioner of Police, Sekira Konde, visited the crime scene earlier and directed that immediate investigation be carried out with a view to apprehending the culprits and be initiated to unearth the killers of the lecturer. Well, reports have, been coming in from that area where there have been strings of killings lately in the state, and some residents have been quite unsettled, following such a spate of killings, and the more prominent being the attack by, unknown gunmen at the residence of a pastor of a church known as the Church of the Brethren, which resulted in the death of 2 teenage sons of the cleric. I remember the story very clearly, that the wife just fainted on the spot. She just fell down. I mean, two sons killed right before her eyes. Her husband, also went down, and her daughter was kidnapped or abducted, as the case may be. Really sad one. All right, so it's 4:33. Would have to take a break now. Was a roundup on news roundup today's edition. Thank you for staying with us through. Would go now and then return with something else later. To stay with us, it is 93.7 Citizen FM. I am Didi.
Abuja. Wake up. Reach out. Speak up. Speak out. You are the voice of a new generation. And this is your station. Talk Radio 93.7 Citizen FM.
Nation of our dream. CitizenFM, CitizenFM. Your problem is my problem and my joy is your joy. CitizenFM, CitizenFM. Make we join our hearts to build a nation of our dream. CitizenFM, CitizenFM. Yeah. Your problem is my problem and my joy is your joy. CitizenFM, CitizenFM.
Omi tuntun ti ru ẹja tuntun wà ní odò ẹtún máa gbọ́.
Ẹ̀yin ìyá mi, ẹ̀yin bàbá mi tí ẹ wà ní àgbègbè Àbújá àti jákèjádò orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Rédíò kan ṣoṣo tí gbogbo èèyàn fẹ́ràn láti máa gbọ́, tó fúnni nímọ̀, tó fúnni lọ́gbọ́n, tó fúnni lóye. CitizenFM ní 93.7 ẹ máa gbọ́. Èmi Àlímọ̀t Àyìnlá Ọmọwúrà ló sọ fún yín pé gbogbo ìgbà tí ẹ bá ti ń gbọ́ CitizenFM 93.7 inú yín ó mọ̀ dùn. Thanks for listening.
my good friend. They say, show me your friend, tell you are. Oh, my friend, I know fit deny. It was the good times we shared, never ever ever forend. I will never forget. Good times are always good. Lately, I have been so cold, and I wanna be with you, my friend. Good times are always good. Lately, I have been so cold, and I wanna be with you, my friend. Oh no. They say blood is thicker than water. Some friends are loyal than brothers. True. It's who I run to when life sometimes gets hard. I know you'll never talk behind my back. I pray that I live long with you. My friend, forgive every wrong I do. I may not have money, but with you I am rich, my friend. Some family, they will judge and condemn you. But you never leave me, no, you'll never ever leave me. I may have knowledge, but with you I am wise, my friend. Good times are always good. Lately, I've been so cold, and I wanna be with you, my friend. Good times are always good. Lately, I've been so cold, and I wanna be with you, my friend.
It has just begun.
Check it out.
Rescan your dial. Now.
You found it.
You found it.
Citizen 93.7 FM. We are the best of the best.
To 93.7 Citizen FM. Based in Nigeria's capital.
Your number one radio station.
And now for something completely different.
Hold on to your chairs, folks, for here they are.
4:40 p.m. It is 93.7 Citizen FM, and I am Didi. Still more on News Roundup today. We're getting further information on progress reports so far from INEC. So, the new statistics is showing that a total number of 73,609 persons living with disabilities have completed their registration in the ongoing nationwide CVR. That's a continuous voter registration. And this is what INEC has stated by themselves in a report obtained by Newsmen. So the reports also show that 197,707 PLWDs. PLWDs is people, persons living with disabilities, PLWD. So when you hear it, you know what we're talking about. All right. So the report shows that 197,707 PLWDs have pre-registered online but have yet to complete their registration. And this calls to mind an enjoyment I saw earlier, I think about a month ago, where the course was for PLWDs to be, given better opportunities, or this registration process be made easier for them. So the distribution by gender show that about 4 million males and 4.8 million males and 4.9 million females have completed their registration so far. That is in total. Yeah, in total. And our newsmen have reported earlier that INEC had given its commitment to providing support to the PLWDs ahead of the forthcoming elections. And advocacy groups have also urged the Commission to guarantee the active inclusion of the community of the PLWDs in the electoral process. That's exactly the story I was talking about. The advocacy groups and people coming together and saying, hey, we could do better for PLWDs. Still on election matters, we know that it's just a few hours before the elections, the governorship election in Osun State. So the police and other security agencies, including the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, that is NSCDC, they have declared war on vote buyers. And they have mapped out strategies to checkmate activities. Before we go further into the story, remember it was a few days ago that INEC came out and said of the 12 things that have been slated as activities for the Osun governorship election, 10 has been ticked. 10 of them have been ticked. So there's remaining 2. The 2 now, I believe one to a very large degree has also been ticked because the rallies by political parties have pretty much been, rounded off. So yes, it's just remaining 1 now. I think the last one is like 50% done because electoral materials have also been sent out. They started, moving from one point to the other in the early hours of today. And so to curb the malpractice of the polls, security agencies have deployed detectives, including undercover operatives, to monitor the election and to apprehend vote buyers. One of the things that marred or nearly marred the Ekiti election just a few weeks ago, you could count that in weeks. So that would be taken care of this time around. It won't happen in Osun State, at least according to what we're hearing from the police and other security agencies. So the deployment of police personnel will also be completed by soldiers, the Civil Defense Corps, and the Amotekun Corps. Reports say security agencies have mapped up elaborate strategies aimed at preventing a repeat of the, incident, the one I just mentioned earlier, the Ekiti governorship poll, as well as other elections in recent times. So vote buying has been a blot in the integrity of recent elections in the country, because it's always the audacity for me, because during the period, I think it was during the Ekiti elections, I saw on social media a video of 2 ladies who were, waving bags of money and saying that, hey, this is what they have earned because they sold their vote. It was really sad that young people don't even know the implication of some of the actions that, they're involved in. It's really sad. It's absolutely sad. Young people know that your vote is your power. Once you sell it, no, you don't even want to. Please, let's all be very careful. Okay, still on the build-up to the election in Dazam, Osun State. INEC officials have moved the materials amid tight security. It was last night they started. Throughout the day, that has been going on. It's been moved to the Commission's headquarters in Oshogbo. Yes, a security operator is also on standby for the election. Tomorrow, 16 July 2022, it's going down. Yes, elections proper. So while handing out the materials, the Osun State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Professor Abdul Ghani Iraji, said the electoral officers would take the items to their councils where they would be sent to the polling units on Saturday morning. That's by morning tomorrow. He said the move is to ensure efficient delivery of the items to the polling units on Saturday. And now, as part of the strategies to boost their chances in the polls, we've seen rallies from different political parties. The APC did theirs. I think a day later, PDP did theirs. PDP was yesterday's, and both held their rally to woo electorates to vote for them, which is typical of election period, right? Okay, now to other matters. The announcement has been made that Saudi Arabia has announced a decision to open its airspace to all air carriers. Okay, so the Hajj experience, Nigerians who try to travel for Hajj, one of the reasons why the reasons the authorities gave as to why some people could not enter Saudi for the Hajj was because the airspace had been shut. Now they're opening it up again. So according to the country's General Authority of Civil Aviation, this was in line with its dedication to fulfilling Saudi Arabia's obligation cause of a build-up to the president of U.S. visiting the country. That's President Joe Biden. The announcement comes on the same day that Saudi Arabia prepares to welcome U.S. President Joe Biden. So Biden's visit, it will be his first to the kingdom and the Middle East since he became president. At the meeting, he is scheduled to meet with Saudi Arabia's King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud and the country's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud. And the convention stipulates non-discrimination between civil aircraft used in international air negotiation. Well, the Hajj is over. This could have been a good time to, see if you could or not, as the case may be. But it is what it is. All right, now back to Nigeria. One thing you would see in the news. So, my God, NURTW is in the news again. I remember, the time of MC Oluomo, how it became a fracas. That was Lagos, though, but the story is from Osun State. So some armed soldiers, some armed soldiers today arrested a chieftain of the NURTW. NURTW is National Union of Road Transport Workers. So his name is Kazim Oyewale. He's popularly known as Asiri Eniba. So Oyewale, who is NURT chairman, or Lorenda unit, was reportedly picked up in the afternoon, just a few hours ago, at his Ojorin Oshobo Motor Park office by soldiers. The development, they say, threw the old garage area where the park is located into panic, as many drivers and passengers waiting to board to different destinations also fled the scene. I mean, if you just see armed soldiers, people clad in soldier uniform just storm NURTW office, the chairman office, and pick him up, you would also be worried, wouldn't you? Well, it will be recalled that the Osun State leadership of the PDP recently said that it had written several petitions accusing NURTW boss of masterminding attacks on its members to security agents. Yes, PDP wrote letters to, security agents during the period and said, please do something about it. It seems as though NURTW boss is masterminding attacks on members of the PDP. Let's hear an eyewitness report on the matter. We can't say where he was taken to for now, but he was arrested this afternoon in his office in Oshogbo. That's what an eyewitness who preferred anonymity while narrating how the NURT chairman of Osun State chapter was whisked away during a chat with newsmen. That's what he said. He said the soldiers arrested him in his office. They came in 2 vehicles. Efforts to get officials' confirmation of the arrest for now has not been, gotten yet. But as drama unfolds, as the situation unfolds, we're going to be, bringing you further details on every side of the story. I definitely know that we're going to be getting, reactions, counter reactions. This is what happened. That will come, definitely. Stay with us. It is 93.7 CitizenFM. Just a few more minutes. We'll be rounding off. Ezemo is here. He is back from he's back from the meeting with the gods. I wanted to say the forest. I was trying not to mention evil to join forest. But if you watch Nollywood, you cannot but mention evil forest. When you're talking about forest, it's forest. I just live in forest. What we know, when we hear Ezemo, when there's Ezemo in the conversation, and then there is forest in the conversation, please. Show me how to divorce Ezemo from evil and forest.
Oh yeah, you don't on this mic, so.
I didn't wait to be make on now.
So you say make I divorce who and who?
I don't say who. I say help me, show me the dichotomy. How do I conveniently?
Dichotomy.
I will fire you.
And they come from house.
Long time ago. Where did the gods give you calabash?
No, they send me make I go back.
Exactly.
Based on evening jollof, you understand? So they tell me say guys enter inside of one forest, go pick something.
The forest is what we're talking about.
But that forest not be evil. Not be every forest be evil.
That is the forest.
Not be every
forest. Is the other one that went to the forest now? They'll come and tell us whether or not he went to an evil forest. You will not tell us now.
Now they tell you.
It's the politics of it.
Politics don't reach there just now.
It's the politics. You will not come and tell us what you saw.
They do campaign for the matter just
you will not want to tell us the full because you want to protect the gods. You want
be the vice presidential aspirant for the forest.
Is it not you that went into the forest? Now come and tell us what the gods are saying. Is it not you? Stay with us. It is 93.7 Citizen FM.
It has just begun.
Check it out.
Rescan your dial.
You found it.
You found it. Citizen
93.7 FM. We are the best. The best.
To 93.7 Citizen FM. Based in Nigeria's capital.
Your number one radio station.
Wavex Pleasure Ride. Here at last. Join the safest, classiest, and cheapest taxi ride in town. Wavex Taxi Ride for absolute safety and comfort. Available in over 500 cities in Nigeria, Africa, Europe, and America. Download the app now from the Google Store.
Once upon a time, for one village where they for air, everything they go well. Them they enjoy better things until them great grandpillar them tell them say he get one secret where they for inside calabash, for inside bush. Elders them gather, them send them ezemwo inter bush, impact in ngongo and njanja take enter inside bush. When he see the calabash, where them papa hide for inside bush. Time to open the calabash. Ezemwo hard then knock. Last, him open the calabash. What's in be the secret where he come see?
As we bring them out, Abuja how far? Hashtag man up, tab yans, mind your language. That's here, and the plenty gadget betterment. Mixed with correct Niger song. Now them they inside Evening Your Love with SMO 1 Radio Street Brief for 93.7 Citizen FM, Abuja. Flex Evening Your Love, Monday to Friday from 5 o'clock for evening, go reach 9 o'clock for night. Evening Your Love with SMO 1 for 93.7 Citizen FM.
Abuja, plus including our surrounding areas. The freshest family magazine Jollyman program. When the Sabias waiting the play. Don't tell for una Bonga Radio, Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja. And you know what? Una freshest Owerri tomatoes. Night and that to the give una fresh story. We go take you back memory lane. Plus including make your belly be sugar industry. For waiting the play, no dull moment from the beginning to the end of the 1 hour program. Waiting the play with the freshest Owerri tomatoes every Saturday and Sunday, 12 noon to 1 p.m. for Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja. Waiting the play. Sit down, listen, hear waiting the play.
Week Time with Ekenezekwe is a program where we deliberate on issues, analyze issues, and come up with the best solutions on the subject matter. Week Time with Ekenezekwe comes up every Saturday by 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on 93.7 Citizen FM Abuja. We Time with Ekenezekwe, our time.
Hold on to your chairs, folks, for here they are.
And now for something completely different.
Section B.
Abuja. Wake up. Reach out. Speak up. Speak out. You are the voice of a new generation. And this is your station.
It's your station, 93.7 Citizen FM, and this is where we draw the curtains today on News Roundup. Thank you for staying with us. My God, it has been an interesting one. Right now, in a few minutes, I'll be back with news on the hour, right after which Evening Jollof will be hitting your airwaves. Here is a message to the youth by the legend herself, Evie Edna Ogoli, to stay with us.
This is mine.